friend Prince Faisal has putting it, we are calling for a sustainable ceasefire, because I believe that a ceasefire, unfortunately, doesn't fall from the sky. We can only reach a ceasefire if both sides are ready that the suffering for oneself also ends the suffering from the others. And my assessment...
This is my video update on this Thursday, midday, January the 18th. Let's talk about some news. And as I'm recording this video, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he is holding the year in review press conference where he goes over all of the diplomatic activity for the Russian Foreign Ministry in 2023. It's always interesting to listen to Sergei Lavrov, especially after a 2023, which I would consider to be a very successful year of diplomacy for the Russian Foreign Ministry. So Lavrov said some things that I managed to bookmark as I caught the beginning of this press conference. He talked about how Elensky is getting out of hand and how the collective West leadership, they are pushing for elections, even though Elensky doesn't want elections, but they're pushing for elections in order to keep Elensky in check. He talked about how the unipolar moment is over and the multipolar moment is rising. The multipolar world is rising. He said, and I quote, "Russia's task is clear: to eradicate any and all dependence on supply, financial, banking, and logistic chains that are controlled or influenced by our Western colleagues." Interesting quote from Lavrov. And he also talked about the growing and successful relationship between BRICS and specifically Russia and China. So we'll have more from Sergei Lavrov as this event, this press conference, can run about 3 hours. In the past, it's gone on for about 3 hours. And so I am sure we will have more statements and more quotes to talk about from the Russian foreign minister, perhaps the best foreign minister in the world, and perhaps the worst foreign minister in the world, Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He was in Davos speaking, and Blinken, he said that the world, they want more U.S. intervention. They want more U.S. diplomacy. That is what Blinken told the attendees at Davos. He said that so many countries around the world are begging the United States to get involved and solve the world's problems. That is the statement that Antony Blinken gave to the people in Davos for the WEF. So yesterday we had an incident between Iran and Pakistan. And Iran, they launched attacks into Pakistan, and then Pakistan retaliated by launching attacks into Iran. Now, both countries were launching attacks against Baluchistan separatists. I don't even think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've never heard of Baluchistan or Baluchistan separatists, to be honest. I'm just being 100% with everybody. But Pakistan attacked Baluchistan separatists in Iran after Iran attacked Baluchistan separatists in Pakistan. So that's what happened yesterday. Let me read you some of this story. Also, police Interesting. Something's going down. All right, let me read you some of this breaking news. Pakistani armed forces conducted several airstrikes on a Baloch militant group in eastern Iran near the city of Saravan, roughly 20 miles into the Sistan and Baluchistan province from the border with Pakistan. The reported cross-border military action came after Tehran claimed credit for a series of missiles and drone strikes on Pakistan's western Balochistan region, which targeted members of the Jaish al-Adli terrorist group. Tehran insisted the operation was solely focused on Iranian terrorists and that none of the nationals of the friendly country of Pakistan were targeted. Now, Pakistan, they came out with a statement, and they said that 2 children were either killed or injured, and they said that they have the right under international law to retaliate, and retaliate they did. Now, I imagine that this incident will calm down. I hope this incident will calm down, though I don't really quite understand what's happening in this region, and I've never heard of Balochistan separatists, so this is something new for me, which makes me kind of worried. Something may be cooking up in this region, some sort of separatist group may be getting funded, and something may be going on in this region in order to destabilize the border region between Iran and Pakistan, but that's all I know. I hope this doesn't spiral out of control, but I imagine things will calm down now that you've had the strike into Pakistan. Pakistan retaliated, and I would think that this is going to be the end of this affair. China is urging calm. India actually said that, India hinted that this was an act of self-defense on the part of Iran, which is to be expected from India, a statement from India. But that's all I can really report on this story. It seems like both sides are targeting this Baloch militant group on opposite sides of each other's borders. So Pakistan seems to be going after this Baloch militant group, and Iran seems to be going after this Baloch militant separatist group, and that seems to be what's going on. So that is what happened yesterday, and we also had some activity with Yemen and the Houthis in the Red Sea and in the Middle East. The Houthis, they attacked, Yemen forces, they attacked 2 more ships moving through the Red Sea. And so the United States, they launched more missiles into Yemen, and the U.S. claims that they targeted and hit a dozen strategic locations, targets in Yemen. Now, the U.S. State Department, they also said that the Houthis, they declared the Houthis a terrorist organization, a terrorist group. So that also happened yesterday. And in various statements from the State Department, they said that now Yemen Houthis will not be able to obtain travel visas to the United States of America. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's concerning the people of Yemen at this moment. How are we going to get those tourist travel visas to the United States now that we are designated a terrorist group, a terrorist organization? So this is not going to stop. None of this is going to stop. It's going to continue to escalate until there is a ceasefire in Gaza. Those are the terms that Yemen, the Houthis, have put on the table, and this is going to continue. This is going to continue until there is a ceasefire and a stop to the war in Gaza. The Houthis will continue to hit ships that are passing through this area, and the United States is now obligated, compelled, forced to launch missiles into Yemen. To do what exactly? No one really knows, to be quite honest. They say they're hitting targets, but no one really quite understands what the end game here is. Though the neocons, they're hoping that all of this escalation will somehow, some way, draw Iran into a conflict with the United States and with the UK, the two forces that are operating in the region. The neocons, they're hoping for escalation and a wider conflict. So that is what happened in the Middle East, and now we can go back to Davos, to the WEF, the World Economic Forum, or as I like to call it, the world Putin lives in their heads rent-free forum. And we had a little incident between Elensky and the Chinese premier, Li Qiang. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not pronouncing that correctly, please let me know and please forgive me. But the Chinese premier, China actually came to Davos with a huge delegation. And this really freaked out the United States, according to Politico. Politico reported that the U.S. was so freaked out by the size of the delegation from China to Davos that they actually contacted the government of Switzerland, and they kind of filed, I don't want to say a complaint, but concern of the actual size of the Chinese delegation. They were concerned about the power that China was bringing to Davos. But anyway, the premier of China, he was in Davos, and the Elensky regime, they wanted to meet with China, and they wanted to meet with the Chinese delegation and the premier of China. And Politico is reporting that China told Elensky to buzz off. They snubbed Elensky, according to Politico. And the best part about Politico's reporting is that they claim that a U.S. official told Politico that the Chinese premier and the delegation from China, they said no to a meeting with Elensky at the behest of Russia, at the behest of the Putin. They turned down Elensky. And so upon hearing this news, Elensky, he came out with a statement, and he said, no, I wasn't trying to meet with China. I don't meet with diplomats that are not on my level, insinuating that the premier of China is below him. Elensky is the president, and he should be meeting with the president, not the premier. And so Elensky is denying these claims that he wanted to meet with China, even though we know that Ukraine was trying to get a meeting with the Chinese delegation. But Elensky said, no, that's not the case. Why would I, as president of Ukraine, why would I meet with the premier? Because he's lower on the diplomatic ladder than myself. I should be meeting with decision makers, he said, with the president of China. That was what Elensky said. Let me get you some more info on this story. The snub by China is a setback for Elensky after envoys from 83 countries gathered in the Alpine resort on Sunday to discuss Kiev's 10-point proposal to end the conflict in Ukraine. China did not send a representative to the talks, which ended without a joint communique being issued. Elensky said that the premier is not the person calling the shots in China. And he suggested that Li was not a high enough official to be worth meeting. Quote, there is a Chinese premier, then our prime minister will meet with him. I would love to meet with the leader of China. As far as I know, Xi Jinping makes decisions, and in Ukraine, I make decisions. I don't need just any dialogues. I need important decisions from the leaders who make these decisions. Elensky, the gift that keeps on giving, man. Man, the Chinese are not going to look at that statement favorably. That's for sure. You don't want to meet with the premier of the most powerful country in the world, arguably the most or the second most powerful country in the world. Dude, what are you smoking, Elensky? Man, what are you smoking? Oh, man, he just insulted China big time. In a big way, he insulted China. So look, Politico says that China snubbed Elensky at the behest of Russia. That's just a bunch of bollocks. That is a bunch of bollocks. More ridiculous high school type of propaganda from the collective West. You know, they try to make this out to be some sort of like high school argument or something like that. You know, well, Russia told me that I can't have lunch with you, and so I'm not going to sit at the same lunch table with you. This is nonsense. Look, the reason that China did not want to meet with Elensky, specifically, the reason that China, because this is what this is all about. China attending this peace talk, this peace plan summit without Russia present at Davos. That's what this is all about. The Elensky regime and the collective West, the United States, they were pressing hard for China to attend this peace summit in Davos. 83 countries were there. And China was like, well, no, because how can you have a peace summit without Russia? You know, how can you discuss this 10-point peace plan, which is really not a peace plan, it's just really a Russian capitulation plan. But they're like, how can we sit down and talk about this without Russia? And so the Chinese, being very pragmatic people, they're like, this is a waste of our time. We're not going to go to a peace summit on Ukraine without Russia there. And that's what this is all about. So China said no. China's like, no, this is just a waste of our time. And so this pissed off the collective West. This pissed off Elensky. And that's what this is all about. And then they make up this story to Politico. A U.S. official goes to Politico and says, oh, well, China, they snubbed Elensky at the behest of Russia. Whatever, dude. Whatever, bro. Just nonsense, man. Absolute nonsense. And you know, this whole 83 countries at this Davos Peace Summit, it's all propaganda. It's all fake news. It's all fake news. Alexander nailed the analysis on this one. What the U.S. did, what the State Department did, and Sullivan and Blinken, is they timed this peace. They planned this peace summit a day before Davos, knowing that you would have all of these countries in attendance in Davos, and so it was going to be no big deal if you told all the diplomats in attendance in Davos to attend this peace summit. And so they managed to get 83 countries because the diplomats were already in Switzerland, and Sullivan and Blinken and Nuland, they called up these diplomats and they said, look, you're here in Davos. Why don't you come by, attend this peace summit? We'll take a photo, and you'll be doing us a favor. And so I imagine all the diplomats were like, okay, whatever. We'll show up. We'll pretend to take part in this sham peace summit talk, and then we'll go back to our hotel rooms. And that's what it was. And that's what Alexander said this is all about. It was timed to coincide with Davos, a day before Davos, knowing that they would have everyone gathered in Switzerland so they would be able to pull off a number like 83 countries. All optics. It's all optics. It's all show. But the Chinese were like, no, I don't I don't even want to take an hour of my day to show up for a photo and to be part of this 80-country peace summit. They're like, this is a complete waste of time. And plus, China's like, we don't need to do the U.S. any favors. There's no reason for us to show up. So that's what this is all about. And Elensky, well, man, the guy really messed up here. He insulted China with this statement. He really, really did. I only meet with decision makers. I only meet with decision makers and people who can give me some money so I can buy some homes. These are the only people I meet with. Right. Decision makers. Those are the only people that Elensky meets with, right? Like decision makers like Sean Penn or Angelina Jolie or who else? Ben Stiller. That guy's an important decision maker. Annalena Baerbock. That's an important decision maker. Chris Christie. Big time decision maker there. Yeah, you only meet with decision makers, huh? That's it. A bunch of nonsense, man. Just nonsense. I think this used to be a university. Actually, this was a university, yeah. But I think this whole area, this whole thing used to be a university. And I think this was a movie theater back in the day. Now it's just abandoned. Empty and abandoned. A couple of cafes around on the outside, but that's it. Yeah, this was Varna University. I think this was a movie theater, Cineplex. But now we have Netflix, so no need for the Cineplex. Anyway, let's move on now and talk about Macron and Russia. Macron and Russia. So, Russia, they launched strikes in Kharkov again the other day, and according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, over 60 foreign fighters in Ukrainian service, most of them French, were eliminated in a precision strike on a building in Kharkov. This is a statement from the Russian Ministry of Defense on Wednesday. And on the same day, upon hearing of the news that Russia eliminated 60 French mercenaries, let's just call them mercenaries, Macron, he had a meltdown. And he came out with a statement and he said that Russia must lose. Russia must be defeated in this conflict. And Macron said, I am going to deliver more bombs and weapons to Ukraine. And he also announced the delivery of 40 Scalp missiles. So that's how upset Macron was with this liquidation of 60 French mercenaries, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. Now, I imagine that 40 Scalp missiles are not going to make any difference in this actual conflict. What might happen is that the Ukraine military, they may manage to sneak a Scalp through Russian air defense and hit civilian targets in Russia, which is usually what happens. And that's just going to lead to more escalation in this conflict, thanks to the decisions made by Macron and France. But what are these French mercenaries doing in Kharkov anyway? What are they doing in Kharkov anyway, these French mercenaries? Russia's starting to target all of these foreign fighters, French fighters, Polish fighters, American mercenaries. The Russians are really starting to target them now, and they're going after them in Kharkov in a big way. Macron, he announced that he is also going to be in Kiev next month. So he's going to be in Kiev in February, I imagine, to coincide with the second year anniversary of the SMO. But I also imagine that Macron is itching to get to Kiev because he wants to get a whiff, a smell of Elensky number 5. Macron is probably lying in bed, awake late at night, just thinking about the perfume, the odor that is Elensky number 5. Oh, I can't wait to get to Kiev and hug Volodymyr, to smell that Elensky number 5. Anyway, Macron said he's going to be heading over to Kiev next month. They're going to make a big deal of this 2-year SMO conflict Ukraine anniversary. And what they really want to do in order to mark the 2-year anniversary of the conflict in Ukraine, they want to announce the confiscation, the stealing, the theft of the 300 billion in Russian frozen assets. That's what they really want to do for next month. They want all of that stuff to align. They want to go to Kiev, and they all want to give their speeches and say, well, you know, Russia is in tatters. It is in tatters because we have now confiscated 300 billion in frozen assets. That's what they want to have play out. That's going to be the big media spectacle event come February 24th. But everyone's telling them not to do it. And if they do steal these assets, well, you're looking at the end, bye-bye, of the collective West financial system, trust in the collective West financial system. Lord Cameron, speaking in Davos, Lord Cameron, he is urging the collective West to steal this money. Cameron said the countries that were backing Ukraine had economies that, when combined, were 25 times the size of Russia, and it was important to make that firepower count. When Putin launched his illegal invasion, the world changed, and we have to change with it and recognize we are in a more dangerous, uncertain, and difficult world. We should be prepared to do some innovative thinking about how we use these resources to help Ukraine. So Cameron is egging all the globalist world leaders on. We have to steal this money, says Lord Cameron, the man who orchestrated the crimes against Libya and Serbia and Syria. I said, and Serbia and Syria. Yeah, that's Lord Cameron. We have to steal this money. 25 times the size of Russia, the collective West economies. 25 times the size of Russia, but yet they lost the economics war. They lost the sanctioned economic war because no matter how big these economies are, they make nothing. I don't want to say nothing, I'm exaggerating, but you know, Russia has all the natural resources, all the commodities, all the energy. So they could be 100 times more, but Russia has the goods that these countries need to make stuff. So that is the statement from Lord Cameron. Which way should we go? Which way should we exit? Let's exit this way. So let's do some clown world and we will wrap this video up. By the way, Duda was also in Davos and he met with Elensky. Here is what the Polish president, well, here's what Elensky said about his meeting with the Polish president. He posted on Twitter X, I met with Andrzej Duda to discuss our bilateral relations, including our cooperation on Ukraine's path to EU membership. We discussed the battlefield situation and further defense assistance for Ukraine. We also coordinated our positions ahead of the NATO summit in Washington. And there you can see a picture of Elensky sitting across the table from Duda. I have seen no pictures of Duda hugging Elensky, so I haven't seen the big Duda hug of little Elensky. But it looks like the bromance may be back on. The bromance between Elensky and Duda may be back on. Duda, Andrzej, I miss you so much. What happened? Where did it go wrong? Duda's like, Volodymyr, I miss you. I miss your scent. I miss your odor. I miss your Elensky number 5. Elensky number 5. Good cologne. Very good perfume. I agree. Buy it now. 20% off. Use discount code. Green sweatshirt. Oh, man. So Fox News, they are... They're running a story with the title, Hunter Biden's gun pouch had coke residue on it, prosecutors say. I just thought this was an interesting title because when I read this title, I just thought to myself, is there anything that Hunter has that doesn't have residue of coke on it? I imagine that everything Hunter has kind of has some type of residue on it. Maybe not even coke residue, maybe some other type of residue. Oh man, I'll leave it there. Oh boy. I wonder if people understood what I meant by that. Anyway, that's a good segue into this title from Newsweek. Hot Houthi pirate becomes online sensation. God, you're beautiful. So this is one of the pirates, and he's been putting out videos from the ships that they seize, and all the ladies are very smitten. Is that the right word? They have a crush on this guy. He is a pirate. So, that's pretty cool and dangerous. But yeah, that's the article from Newsweek. Hot Houthi pirate. The hot Houthi pirate. Unfortunately for all the ladies in the United States, I'm sorry to break the news to all the ladies who have a crush on this hot Houthi pirate. He can't get a travel visa to the U.S. because, well, he's now been designated a terrorist, so he won't be able to get a travel visa, a tourist visa, to visit America. Anyway, that is the video, everybody. The Duran.locals.com. What is that noise? We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and we are also on Twitter X. Join us for brunch at Paul. Salmon, Kroll, Egg Benedict. Sounds good. Sounds tasty. And go to the Duran shop. 15% off all t-shirts. Give this video a like. Subscribe to this channel. And I am signing out for today. Take care.